Hi everybody, welcome back to OCD Illustrated. My name is Katie, I live with OCD, and I am here to teach you about OCD. In this video, I'm going to be making a sample hierarchy, or more specifically, a sample list of items that could go on a hierarchy. We know that OCD has two parts, the obsessions, which are the unwanted, distressing thoughts, images, or urges that pop into somebody's head. The obsession that I am using for this example is the thought, I might offend God and go to hell, which has compulsions or things that people do to reduce the distress caused by the obsession, compulsions that go with it. One compulsion somebody with this offending God obsession might have is that they need to review their words before and after speaking to ensure they didn't say anything blasphemous or offensive to God. When the person has intrusive, blasphemous, offensive, swear word, whatever thoughts, they may immediately pray for forgiveness after each one. Similarly, they might confess blasphemous thoughts to religious leaders or to family members. A person with this obsession might go so far as to try to prevent themselves from hearing other people say blasphemous or offensive things. They might cover their ears, for example, if they hear somebody else swear. The person might also reread things that they write to ensure that they didn't offend God in their writing. Okay, so I've put our obsession into the steps of making a hierarchy. Remember, the first step is to pick an obsession, which in this case is I might offend God and go to hell. Step 2 is to list the actions that would trigger the obsession. Once you've listed them, then you organize them into order from least uncomfortable to most uncomfortable, and you identify your working zone. As in my other sample hierarchy videos, I am just focusing on step 2, listing the actions that could go on a hierarchy and the tasks you could do as exposures. If you need more information about what a hierarchy is or on the other steps in it, please watch some of my other videos on exposure and response prevention, which go into that in more detail. And pulled straight out of my how to make a hierarchy video, I've taken the step 2 tips. So remember, we're going to think of times and places that you do compulsions, think of things that the person with OCD avoids. Once you identify one task, you can modify it to make it easier and harder. Can think of things to write and say that would trigger obsessions, and then to also include overcorrection exposures. All right, now the part where we get creative. Let's list some hierarchy items. Okay, number 1, the person with OCD can swear or say other blasphemous or offensive things to God. And I'm not kidding. When this was a hierarchy I was working on, I literally practiced swearing. And you could do this task in different ways that may be easier or harder. So you could think the swear word, you could write the swear word, you could say the swear word to get kind of different levels of anxiety. I kind of covered this in the swearing and what I already said, but you can say, write, or listen to blasphemous statements. So for somebody who's Christian, it might be saying, I secretly want to worship the devil, or God is stupid, or any number of other things. To counteract that confessing compulsion, a hierarchy task might be to tell the faith leader, I had no evil thoughts, even when you actually did. Can send emails without rereading them. You could also be super sneaky and embed swear words or blasphemous statements into the email, whether so the other person can actually read them, or like putting them in white font or white color so that the person can only read it if they're highlighted, so you kind of sneak it into the message. Anyway, so you can send emails without rereading or include the statements in the emails. Could also do things during a religious service that God might interpret as offensive, so you might arrive late or leave early or come but don't participate. Like I know in Catholic services there's times you're supposed to stand up and times you're supposed to sit down and times you're supposed to do all sorts of different things. So like maybe you just don't stand up during the stand-up time, and that might make you feel like you're offending God. Rather than negating intrusive thoughts, you could think, I meant that for real, when blasphemous thoughts occur. Can listen to music with swear words, blasphemous statements, whatever. I know if you're like me and the mostly sort of Christianity focused, I can find all sorts of music that are about sex and drugs and all sorts of other things that are sort of unholy to listen to and trigger my anxiety. A more challenging version of writing offensive slash blasphemous slash swear words, whatever statements, is to write them in the Bible or in the religious text. If you're not going to do that to an actual Bible, you could like print out pages, I don't know, of pages, like an individual page, or copy an individual page of the Bible and write on that. And finally, my last idea is that so with this obsession, if one of the compulsions is praying, so first the person should stop praying as part of ritual prevention, but then you could replace praying with writing blasphemous scripts. So it's not just ritual prevention, but it's also using it as an exposure time. So remember that if this was the list of hierarchy items you came up with, you would then rearrange the items to go from ones that cause you the least amount of distress to ones that cause you the most amount of distress, and then start practicing the ones that are in your working zone, causing like a 3 to 4 out of 7 level of distress. And you climb your hierarchy all the way to the top and feel a lot better. So thank you for watching. I hope you join me for future videos and give me your feedback because I love hearing from you. Bye.